Sacha, thank you so much for coming down. I appreciate you doing
It's
this
nice to see you,
on
Mansour.
such short notice. Just to give everyone a bit of, context, you and I have not seen each other in 20 years. We know each other.
20 years, yeah.
Yep.
Maybe on Oxford Street, DCMs, who knows?
Yeah, Rogues, something like that.
It'd be a horrible place wherever it was.
I think I drove past it the other day. I think it was just a commercial office now. People are
dead.
sitting there tapping on their keyboards, and I'm like, mate, if you
It's
knew-
dead, huh?
yeah, it's gone.
Anyway,
It is absolutely
been a
gone.
while.
I'm surprised, but also
How did we reconnect?
Well, actually, so I saw you on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to recognize you because of the beard.
Yeah.
Right? But then you start cracking jokes about something as menial as putting a for sale sticker on a sign. And I'm like, that's definitely Sacha.
Yeah,
So
nice.
I reached out to you and I'm like, mate, and this was only 3-4 days ago. I'm like, mate, you've got to come down. We've got to have a chat because I want to hear because I know that I'm going to be able to talk to you without you having some corporate, overlord saying, oh, no, you can't say that. Because I've actually asked the other friends who are agents.
Yeah, and they don't want to say anything.
They're like, oh, look, I've got to run this past head office.
Yeah,
blah,
head
blah,
office.
blah.
Like I am the head office.
Yeah.
Someone asked me yesterday, they go, who's your HR department? I said, I'm the HR.
Mate, if anyone knew you, that's just a silly question.
Yeah. Well, I did work in corporate prior to real estate. I ran probably one of the largest car dealerships in the world.
Yeah, wow.
That was like, so yeah, I've done the corporate thing, but it feels like.
And what made you switch? You just wanted the price of what you were selling to be bigger, or?
No, we'll get into that, huh?
All right. Well, you tell me, because I'm just going to be honest with you, and I'm sure you're aware of it too anyway.
Yeah.
Why do you think people struggle so much to deal with real estate agents?
It's an interesting question. I think I'll tell you just the truth, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, because people don't like the truth, genuinely. I posted some stuff recently which was actual truth and just being honest about, I guess you're referring to the hot topics underquoting.
Yeah.
I was in the news recently about it. Nothing major, not a major news article, but the heading read, agent, North Shore real estate agent in a TikTok tirade. That was like, fuck. But all I was talking about, underquoting, right?
Yeah.
So underquoting. I think agents come across as a bit flash, and they, if you read through some of my comments, like if I read through some of the comments about real estate agents on my Instagram and TikTok feeds,
Yeah.
I think if I was to really get to the bottom of what it really is, I think there's a lot of jealousy there. I think they know some of us earn millions of dollars a year. No one likes it. They genuinely think we're useless, we're not required, we lie, we cheat, we steal, we do things just for our commissions, we're only out for ourselves.
Okay, what are the bad bits?
There are none. That's what I thought. I thought, tick, tick, tick. No, like in all seriousness. So, man, you read through these comments, there's a lot of hate.
Yeah.
But then you go to anyone that's successful on Instagram and TikTok, there's a whole lot of people throwing rocks at them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they're real estate agents, mortgage brokers, health fanatics,
Yep.
influencers of any kind. You read through this stuff, there's some negative connotations with anyone that seems to be putting their head out on a line and having a crack.
Look, the thing so I've recently sold and bought, and I've gone through the process, and it's taken 9 months, right?
Yeah.
From go to woe.
You've just sold.
Just sold.
Thanks, mate.
Well, I didn't know you were an
That's
agent.
all right.
Otherwise,
I'll do the
would've-
next one.
I would have called you. But the issue that I found is, and this is dealing with the agents now as a buyer,
Yeah.
right? The amount of bullshitting that goes on. I had a property in the Northern Beaches that I looked at.
Yeah.
Rocked up there, and this agent had a valuation that he printed out from ANZ, which I don't know where he got it from, right? But it was 400 to 500 grand more than what the property was worth, and he was trying to sell me on the. It's like, look at this val.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I know that you can manipulate those valuations,
Yeah.
right? Because all you do is it's an algorithm.
I've never seen that before, but
I've never seen it before either.
Yeah.
I found it right. Like I was shocked that he was doing that. Right.
okay, so we can unpack that.
Right, but it's just shit like that goes on.
So what do you reckon? Like, okay, so why do they hate them? Man, to tell you the truth, I'm probably not a great I don't really care. Like, that's the truth. Why do I think they don't hate? Like, it depends on what context. So let's bounce around the hot topics. I mean,
Well,
What do you think? What do you not like about it?
no. Look, you know what? I don't actually think that it's their fault because I know a lot of people who are agents who I actually like. You're one of them, right?
Your favorite agent.
My new favorite agent. You know what I actually think it is? I think the problem is the way that agents are remunerated.
Yeah.
I think that the whole credit debit thing is a crock. I think that should be outlawed.
Yeah.
They should be paid.
Do you think they're driven by sometimes that?
Well, it's a really hard way to survive. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got, and for people who don't know, the whole way the debit credit system works, and it's not in any other industry, it just seems to be in real estate, is your boss gives you a minimum wage for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And then once you start selling a home, you've got to pay that person back. Like that's a really tough way to earn a living. Do you know what I mean?
You reckon that drives sometimes desperation?
Yeah.
So these are good points. Things I don't think about on my little ivory tower. But that's the truth, right?
Right.
So I think so you just want. I mean, the big question is why do you think's right? Why do people hate real estate agents? Yeah.
Well,
Because what you said before is I've asked people, they don't really want to tell me. They're a bit worried about what people will think. You really want to peel it back, rip it right back and just fucking get right into the back end of it.
I honestly think, because going back to what I was saying earlier, right, like there's some really good people that I know that are real estate agents. And I just think that the way that they're remunerated is scummy. Like I think that they should earn a wage in the same way that everyone else should. And yes, there should be some commission on top of that, just like any other sales role. But it shouldn't be something where they've got to kill something so they can eat it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that
you could flip that. I mean, you're a mortgage broker. You don't get a retainer.
No, we don't. But the volume of deals is just there, right? So even if you're
Volume for deals is there for agents too.
yeah.
So and I think that's important, you know, and maybe that you're on a point because I think it's different in different areas. I think in relation to that I think if there's some points there and you can argue pros and cons, but I think sometimes in an office, if an agent cannot stand on their own 2 feet and earn enough money to pay the bills on a commission-only basis, they're most not likely qualified enough to be able to be representing someone like yourself selling an upper North Shore home for $3 to $10 million. So you get rid of them and you might get rid of a problem. That's the truth. So like, why would we, if we can only deal with the best agents in the country, and defining best could be interesting too, because there's best as in I sell more, and then there's best where I think I sit where I just get great prices for my owners and I'll die for them. They're very different. Those things are different. Volume, and I made a few $1 million this year as opposed to I only made 1 or 2, but I did a really good job. They're different. So I do agree with you, but I also say, well, this is such a lucrative industry for people that like mortgage broking. I think contrary to what people believe on the outside, the good performers make. Probably shouldn't talk about it, but we will. There's agents that make $10 million a year, and that's fact. You know, and I look through my comments and I see people going, "Oh, get a real job," and it's like, mate,
do they really?
Yeah, and it's like, dude, mate, there's guys out making $1, $2, $5, $10 million a year. Why would I get a real job? What is a real job? This isn't as easy as it looks. I think it goes deeper than this. So you've got guys that believe this will be easy. Yep, and then they plug into an office. They work for some other agent. They got to kind of run around like a crazy person for them for, I don't know, 5 years, learn the ropes. They're on 60, 70 grand. They burn out. They sometimes come back and then they're bashing their heads against a wall for the next 10 to 20 years earning minimum wage. I think if you can't crack it, it is a tough job. Like, even when you think you know what you're doing, you sometimes look at your pay slip and work out you don't. I had a deal just before. I just lost 100 grand. It's a deal. The owner should take it. I can't replace the offer. The buyer's there. They're about to purchase another property. I don't know if I'll ever be able to replace that offer for that owner. And they've said, no, we're not going to sell it. Now, my gut feel is they'll never sell that house. Or they will, whether it's with me or someone else, but it won't be at the price that we just got. So today, you know, woke up, thinking my bank account went up 100,000. It didn't. It kind of just did nothing.
Stayed where
Yeah,
where
but I've
it
done
was.
the work.
Yeah.
Been on this for 6 months, trying to put this deal together.
Yeah.
It fell over. Okay, next. It's what it is. And if you can't learn how to handle that,
Yeah.
and it's hard.
Yeah, it is like I've looked at real estate in my younger years and just thought that is very, very tough, and there are there are easier ways. Well, at that time for me, I used to work for this agent who was very well known, which I'll tell you off air, in Chatswood when I was 19.
Yeah.
And he taught me a lot about sales.
Yeah.
And and he taught me a lot about real estate. And I just remember thinking like this is a tough gig. It really is. There's a lot of
And that doesn't, in the society we live in today, as horrible as it sounds, that's just life.
yeah.
I want something, I might not be able to afford it, I have to let it go.
I heard something recently which makes sense and is pretty much sums up the property market, especially in Sydney and Melbourne. If you're not willing to pay tomorrow's price today,
Yeah.
you're wasting your time.
I think it's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
I've recently bought a property. I paid 2 years' prices in 2 years. Man, I was up against multiple people. I've met them at open homes. They said, how'd you get that property? I said, I just paid price. I bought it in 22. I said, I paid 2025 price.
yeah.
And I went hundreds of thousands of over.
I
And that, without big noting, that's like, and that was fact. Property was worth that within a month. It wasn't 3. I made $1 million in like 6 months, maybe more.
Yeah.
It was just pay the price.
Because you're in competition with the other guys in the area, right?
And it's
So So
everything.
there's a lot of different factors.
But the real thing you want to get to the bottom is, because I'll talk all night and we won't, but you kind of want to unpack, well, what's going on behind the scenes, because there's a lot of bad media hype about real estate agents, and there's an undercurrent. It's there. There's a tone throughout society where we're not the favourite people. We kind of go, I guess you start probably drug dealer, and then you might move yourself up to moving a few cars around, and then after that, you might do real estate. So you're you're pretty much the most hated people in society. So the reason there's a bad reputation is, I think, I'm going to speak to a few different people. So from a society point of view, a genuine way that I can try and empathise and connect with people out there without upsetting them is, you're dealing with the biggest asset that someone's ever going to sell. It's their livelihood, and the purchasers are doing the same. They're trying to buy something that's the most important thing that they're ever going to buy.
Yeah.
The problem is, every house will have multiple people that want to buy it. And as an owner, genuinely, you're not going to let your property go unless you got your maximum price. So you're going to do everything you can to get that. So you've got buyers wanting to buy something and not pay overs. You've got a seller that wants to sell something and they don't want to lose any money. They want to make sure they maximise the price. So we've got this massive emotional experience. We've got a seller, and you've just done it recently. I want to 100% be certain that I didn't leave any money on the table. Buyer, I want to do everything I can to make sure I pay a fair market price. I'm not prepared to pay over. With those two mindsets, it's almost set up for failure.
Yeah.
I want a huge price, and I'm not going to, unless I'm certain it's the best, I don't know if I'm prepared to let it go.
Yeah.
I'm a buyer. I love the property so much, but there's only so much limit I can go to. Understand the market, the trajectory of what's happening. Why do you care? By the time you settle, sometimes you've made $100,000 back. Now, we've got to be careful. I've learned the hard way that sometimes when you throw around these numbers, people get offended. So if we take it back to basics in $1 million home, right? I've done the research. I know that it's probably going to go for $1 million or maybe a little bit over. And I've got to ask myself, can I replace the house? Do I have the means and the budget to buy the home? Could I go to a certain price? And I think a lot of people don't sit down and really work that out. They rock up at the auction. I don't know what they do. I always tell people, just work out where you're prepared to miss the house at. Do it before you go to the auction.
Yeah.
draw a little number on a piece of paper with your wife or loved one or with your husband or whoever, and write down $1 million. Okay. If it went for 1,005,000, am I happy to miss it? Do that exercise until you've got to the number that you're prepared to go to. Now, then I ask another question. Could you get more money if you had to? Okay. Now that we know that you're at maximum $1,050,000, but you've actually got a budget of 1.1, why are you prepared to let the house go? Oh, because there's another one. They're all similar. Okay, so don't buy it.
Yeah.
So why would there be any drama at the end of missing that auction, regardless of the price guide, the underquoting, and all this fluff that happens? Property prices go up at 5 to 10% a year on year, forever. So we always know that they can continuously. There's never this magical time where they just sit the same price. So that's the final question: is in 20 years when you bought it for 1 and it's now worth 5, you're going to be upset. Work out the number that you're prepared to give, knowing that you're buying the property today, you love it, you don't want to miss it. In 7 to 8 years' time, it will be most likely worth $2 million, unless you're buying a unit in a weird spot. If you're buying land, I genuinely think it doubles every 7 to 10 years, give or take. I buy it for $1 million today. In 10 years, it's worth 2. Do I care if I pay 50 grand overs here?
I have this conversation with people all the time.
And if you do care, well, don't buy it. But I tell you what, after 6 months of looking and missing out, you'll start to work out that you probably are happy to pay that money. Yeah. So the biggest problem here is you're dealing with big emotions. You're dealing with an owner that wants his price. You're dealing with a market that... So really what's happening the whole time is we've got a price up here from the owner, and we've got a market that's trying to pull it down, which is... It's not personal. Like, I talk about this stuff online and I get hate.
Yeah.
It's not personal. If you own a property, I think
it is, though, because
But do you think there's ever an owner in the world that says, I want to from day one, whatever the market says to me verbally in the first week or two, we'll just let it go at that price?
No.
And I don't want to maximize my price. I'm actually like a charity. I want to just give to someone. I want to give to a nice... Could you find me someone that would suit this house, but don't worry about the price?
Yeah, that never happens.
Come on.
No.
So we know that's always a fixed thing. I will not let go of my house unless I know it's the maximum price. And if I'm buying something, whether it's a car or anything, I don't want to get ripped off.
Yeah.
So this is going to always be the case. And there's a lot of emotion and drama that happens in between.
So what's that like, having to deal with that, though? It must be...
I think that's probably why we aren't hated, why we are hated, because we're in the middle.
Yeah.
We're a conduit to that dilemma. That is a sticky place to be. I want to buy it at this, I want this much. Now, if I try and get you as the buyer up to here, I'm not liked.
Yeah.
If I smash the owner down to meet the market, I'm dodgy too.
Yeah.
If I bring you together, you'll feel it as well from all angles. There's no way you just get to the end of that process going, well, that was merry and fun.
Yeah.
It's a huge purchase. You get it wrong, you're going to feel bad. It's a huge number. I feel bad sometimes buying a car and going, I shouldn't have done that.
I think the thing that would burn me the most if I was an agent was you try your best, you lose, you then the period finishes, and then the guy you're competing with ends up with the listing.
Yeah.
Like, that would burn me, I reckon, so much.
You've nailed something. Here we go. So problem number 2. I've got this one today. The price I've just got a price for a house that's, I don't want to get into too much detail, but let's just say the price I've got on this house is huge. It's unequivocally a huge price for what it is. And the owner's just not quite right on it. Needs a little bit more. Now, if I smash that owner too hard and really give them really rip into them, I probably could get the deal done. I've already smashed the buyer. I've done everything I can to get them to a number. They're at it. And it's unconditional. 66W, it's a loaded gun. All the owner's got to do is sign it. They sold their house. Let's assume I'm correct and I can't replace the offer. I've got two things I can do. I can either convince the owner to meet the buyer or get the buyer up. If I don't handle that correctly, the deal won't get done. The owner will now probably either stay with me if I select to stay with them, because maybe I won't. It's like I've done my job. If you can't take that, I can't help you.
Yeah.
They go to another owner, agent, and you know what? They'll sell in 6 months' time. They'll be smashed around by someone. It'll sell for less than today, and that buyer will say, they'll probably blame me for some reason that they missed the house and it sold for $200,000 less in 6 months. That'll be the story they tell at the parties. It was my fault.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure there, and I guess that comes down to why you're getting behaviour that is questionable. So imagine this: you work for 3 to 6 months. It's for free, full time, trying to do something. Saturdays opens, getting yelled at, full time, 6 months, 3 months, whatever. And at the end of it, you've done your job. In our case, it's an offer at an acceptable level that looks probably above what it should be, very happy level. And the owner says, not sure, don't think so. Now, and then the fear of that then the owner, if we haven't pushed the owner hard enough over the last 3 months, condition them, as they say, I just give the truth. But if we have not got to them to a position where they're ready to accept that offer, high probability, for some reason, who's the first person they'll blame when I haven't got my price? It's the agent. Can't be the market.
Yeah.
It's the agent. And then I go off to the new agent, and then second time round, I'm probably going to get fleeced, and I'm a bit tired. I'm a bit over it.
Yeah.
So it's a tough job. And then, you did the 6 months work for free, and you do it again for free, and you continue to do that for free unless you can sell the house. And in a balanced market, clearance rates aren't great. They're like 50%. So that means 1 in 2 properties aren't selling. That's a bit dramatic, but that's kind of where we're at. There's a good chance that if you put a property on the market as an agent and work for 3 to 6 months or 8 weeks or however long it takes you, that it might not sell and it'll be taken off the market and the next agent will take it on.
So we're sitting in December now, 2025. Like, how have you found, let's call it the last 3 months versus what you think the next 3 months will kind of look like in 26? Like the sentiment from vendors, like people who are selling, are they still looking for unrealistic numbers? Like what are you kind of coming across?
I think, look, in my experience, most of our properties that we take to market, they sell. It can be like the one that I've just talked about, it'll sell. I've got no doubt. And I've also got no doubt the owner will stick with me. But I've given them some advice and said, I think you should take the number we've got. Because if you hold $4 million for a year, you need almost 4.3 to replace it.
Yeah.
And if the market, do we really think we're going to get a 10% lift over the next year? That's just to break even. So what am I seeing? I'm seeing properties trading. I'm seeing 1 to 2 buyers on every property at best. I'm seeing huge prices, but I'm also seeing if you've picked the wrong agent. So there's usually, this is just my opinion in my area, which is kind of 3 to 8 million in Upper North Shore of Sydney, that on each property, let's call it a $5 million property, there could be probably 10 people that would like to buy it at 4 to 4.4. There might be one that'll buy it at 4.7, 4.8, and there'll be one that'll buy it at 5 million. And if you miss the buyer, you're at 4.6, 4.7. If you miss that buyer, you're at 4 to 4.4. What I am seeing at the moment is agents convincing owners to take 4 to 4.4 because they've got inability to find the $5 million buyer, or they're missing them due to the fact that they're too busy, due to the fact that they don't know what they're doing. There's a myriad of things. It usually comes down to too many listings, too busy, and they don't have the skill and the ability.
So would you say when I guess the general public looks at real estate agents, they find it hard to, I guess, maybe differentiate the difference, or like why you should select person A over person B.
Yeah.
So would you say in that market, it's really got to do with what their network is and their ability to get that? Like if the house is worth, let's call it in your case, four to 4.5,
Yeah.
and I don't have those buyers and I'm relying on realestate.com.au, then really that's the price that I'm going to get you as an agent, right? That 4 to 4.5. But if
I think the actual truth of the matter is this is a good topic, especially for me, because the only thing, when I worked for a larger brand, I could walk into any house in the whole of Australia, I reckon, and list it. Okay. There was never any doubt. I used to knock on people's doors, have a quick chat, and they literally gave me their listing. Okay. It was unbelievable.
You really, and that's because of the brand you were working for?
Well, I think it's a good agent paired with a great brand.
Right.
When I took my brand off, it became more difficult. They said to me, "Where's your database? Who do you know?" And the reality is, it's such a good point, but I've sold enough houses to know now that 99.9% of people that buy homes saw them on realestate.com and Domain. There's no database. It's garbage. I've bought a database bigger than half of the biggest agents' databases. I have CRM systems, text messaging, voicemails. I have things pumping out 24/7 trying to entice people to come to properties. It doesn't work. The one thing that works in this day and age is really, there's only three main things. It's realestate.com and Domain. So you don't need a network. I think that's the common misconception for most people, because we're told by the big brands that I saw an ad by an agency the other day. It says, it had two guys. It was funny because they both worked for the brand, but they were trying to be funny. So they had this line in the middle, and there's one guy working on his desk on one side and one on the other. It says, "Johnny says he's got contacts." It basically said one guy says he's got contacts and one guy does.
Right.
Now, the funny thing is, there's a saying that I always use is, you can put the right buyer in front of the wrong agent, you won't be able to sell the house. So it doesn't matter anyway. If I had the biggest black book of overseas millionaires, it still won't help me if I don't know how to do it. What I can say to anyone in Sydney is, I can only talk in Sydney Metro, and I probably can only talk in 3 to 10 million. It is very rare, very, very rare, and not worth rolling the dice that you could sell a house if you could find a buyer. How could you if I was trying to spend 3 to 10 million and I knew roughly where I wanted to live, do you genuinely think, well, let's put it to you actually, the last house you bought, how'd you find it?
Real estate.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't call your favourite agent and go, "Hey mate, you got any cheeky ones?"
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried, but no.
Right. Those off-market deals are exactly what we said before. We talked about 4 to 4.4.
Yeah.
There's one buyer that's at 5, and there's a couple, maybe one in the middle. The 4 to 4.4 is where off-market happens. It ain't 5.
Yeah.
Buyers don't walk in and pay top dollar. They barely pay top dollar with competition. Why would they buy a property off-market at a premium price? The owner sometimes in that $10 to $20 million bracket doesn't want the publicity, and there's not that many $20 to $25 million buyers around. So you can plug a few deals together, 15, 20, 25 mil without advertising. But I can tell you something, if you're going to get rid of the privacy and all the stuff, you chuck it on realestate.com and Domain, same buyer will walk in.
Yeah, okay.
So...
Because they're looking there anyway, right? They're not just relying on...
Mate, no one cares.
Yeah.
If you're going to part with your money and you're looking for your family's home, there is absolutely no way you will not check realestate.com and Domain. How did we get on this topic? I can't remember.
Well, I was thinking...
It was about how do you select an agent, networks.
Yeah. But the other thing that you said something which was interesting, because I just went through this process, right, is this off-market thing that we keep hearing real estate.
But there's another dodgy thing, right?
It's just part of the sales process, right?
No, it's part of the get your foot in the door and try and manipulate you to go on the market process.
That's what
I walk into a property now. I used to do off-market, and I used to sell properties off-market. In a hotter market, it can work, but I still don't think it maximises price. But genuinely off-market, hand on heart, I don't do it. I do market research probably a month out before they look a client. If you said to me you want to sell your house in 3 months and you said, Sash, what do you think I should do to it to make it look good? What should we do? What do you think? Should I fix the kitchen? I go, I don't know. I go, I don't care either. I'll just get 5, 10 of the best buyers agents in the country through your house this weekend, and then I'll get all their feedback and I'll show it to you on Monday. Are you going to sell it? I go, I'm not even going to try and sell it. We sell it when we go to market. Marketing brings every buyer in the world here, and then I do the rest. Off market, what for? Off market usually is a way when I don't have the balls to tell you to spend 15, 20 grand to put it on the market. So do you want the best buyers in the world to come to your house and everyone in the world to know about it so we can maximize the price? Or do you want the agent that goes, I think I could be able to sell it off market. That'll save you 15, 20 grand.
Oh my God, Sash, that's literally what my agent told me when we sold. Right? You know what's funny? I couldn't have given a rat's ass about spending the money.
Mate, tell them. Like, mate, guys.
I told her.
That's it. No, but this is it, right? Agents get themselves in They walk in, oh, I've got this database. Now, first thing happens. They open the door, first open home, off. What they don't know, and I think they only do what they're told or what they've learnt from some other idiot. So some other idiots convince them that this is how you do it. Hey, Mansour, you want to sell your house? Yeah, I do. Cool. Instead of coming in and saying, would you like to, I don't even know how they think, but I'm going to just guess. Bit nervous about showing him the marketing costs. 20 grand, 15 grand. So what I might do is, hey, Mansour, if I could sell your house at a price you like without you having to advertise it all, does that sound of any interest to you? Because I have a big database and I sold a few up the road and I've got a few leftover buyers. Yeah, okay. First open. How many did you get through? 1 or 2? How did it go? They like it, but I don't think it's for them. Now, in the end with this off-market you end up doing 4 of those. You'll open it 4, 5, 6 times. By the end of it, everyone has an epiphany and they go, I had to clean it up 4 to 6 times. We should have put it on the market. Why didn't we? Oh, do you want to go to market? Yeah. About 8 weeks ago, I told you I want to sell my house. Oh, so you'll pay for marketing? Yeah. Well, can we go to market? No, I'm going to use a real agent now. Because the reality is it's a waste of time, man. Yeah. And there's going to be, from a real estate agent's point of view, this will be a nightmare for them to watch. But, I mean, all I can talk about is the market I know. If you own a property in 3 to 6 million, 3 to 8 even, 3 to 10, Sydney's Upper North Shore, you don't have to do off market. It's irrelevant. Unless you are so famous and so private that no one can know that you're selling your house, like why would that be?
Yeah.
Like you should probably not even own that house then. No one cares about you. Just put your house on the market and tell the world it's for sale. And if you do it that way, you'll probably be sold in 4 weeks and no one will care.
Yeah. Yeah. People will move on with their lives.
Yeah.
Look, from personal experience, I went through this and I'm not tight. Like if someone says to me, hey, you got to spend 15, like we ended up spending like 70, 80 grand getting the house ready.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm not going to spend another 15 to pay for marketing. It wasn't that, but this agent's default.
People are scared, man. Agents are scared.
Yeah, they're just scared. And it's like, I just spent 70 grand on the gardener and all this sort of crap. Why?
And not to freak you out, but imagine that guy trying to look a guy in the eyes when he says, I'm only paying 4. And how much confidence is that agent going to have from walking away from his commission? Because at that point, that little pointy end, that's where the money's made. Offer comes in. If the agent is worried about 10, 15 grand on marketing and their fee, I always say to owners, what do you think they're going to be like when they're negotiating at the final end? Who are they going to work? Are they going to work the buyer? Or are they going to go back to you as the owner and ask you to bring your price down? Because for me personally, when I'm negotiating, I got 100 grand on the line, I don't care. I couldn't care less. And it's not because I got heaps of money, it's because my job is to maximize the owner's price. Go through the process, disconnected totally. I don't know why, maybe it's old enough and ugly enough to know that I can disconnect from those feelings, not care. My job only is to maximize the price of the home. If the buyer falls away, I've got to be careful not to lose them. But I'm not coming back going, oh, I think that's that same fear the same fear that I can't ask you for marketing, the same fee that I can't look you in the eyes and say I don't sell a house unless you're going to give me 100 grand. And the reason I'm worth that is because I'll make that like that at the end of that negotiation easy, especially when we're talking at 3 to 10 million. 100 grand is one phone call. The next 500,000 is hard. Like it is what it is.
It's funny you say that, because I would say to people watching this, if you are looking to engage an agent, and this is from my own personal experience, that the agent that we used unfortunately did have that fear, and it was very, very evident from the beginning, and it ended up costing us at the end of that pointy negotiation that you're talking about, because what they were doing was they were so scared of losing that seller, right, that they were busting our chops, and we ended up having to drop our pants by 50 grand, right?
Yeah.
And you know what the thing that burns me about that process, and you know I learned a lot through it.
Yeah, you do.
Was the seller, we ended up engaging, the buyer, we ended up engaging with them just to work out logistics of certain things. And
You would have paid more.
they said to us, they're like, when we saw this house, we didn't want to let it go. And
Benefit of the doubt to the agent, you never know. He might have done the best job in the world.
You never know.
But I tell you what, there's ways at the pointy end to guarantee whether you've got any more money on the table. There's heaps of them.
Tell me.
Well, example, like I've got a text right now. I basically, I'm going to use some hypotheticals, depending on how this will look. And let's say you're about to buy the house, right? You've made the offer. You're at 3.5 million. And you know for a fact that, or you perceive or feel that I have other buyers. You've made an unconditional offer. You've waived your cooling off period. You've signed your contract. You've given me, the owner is a signature away from selling their house to you. And I say to you, listen, I've got a few of these. I hate to say, but I do. I need you to know, you are my favorite buyer. I really like you, Mansour. Your wife loves the home and I want you to have it. I told you at the pointy end I'm going to try and help you buy it. I need to know, are you 100% certain that that's your final offer? And hypothetically speaking, if I sell it right now for 3.6 million, you're okay to let it go? Because I really need to know now. It's one good question.
Yep. That's the deadlining that myself as a salesperson would do.
Yeah. And they might say, no, that's my final offer. Cool. Okay, so you're okay to let it go.
Yeah.
Hey, I can guarantee you there's tells, there's noises, there's grunts, there's pauses, there's things. If you do that right through a process and you do it to multiple buyers, you will uncover. And then eventually, worst case is you've got two. And then we've got two people and we just say, well, at the end of the day, I'm sorry to say, but we've got two identical offers sitting in front of us. And by 12 o'clock tomorrow, you guys are going to have to give us your best and final. Mm-hmm. One might just tell you to get stuffed. You sell it to the other one. But there's work that needs to be done. Our job doesn't start at that point. So I think there's a lot of work that happens before a property is launched in preparation and guidance and pricing and strategy. Yeah. And how are we going to do it? On the market, the process, the communication, the care, all of that stuff. And then obviously it's all to bring it to a crescendo to land the best buyer with a loaded offer, whether that's at auction, before auction, expressions of interest, private treaty, however you want to sell it. But eventually an agent doing their job gives you an unconditional offer. Once that's there, we have to work out, did we do everything to make sure that that's the biggest number? Have we got proof that it's a standout buyer? If it's not a standout buyer, what are we going to do to see if we can get some more money? And that's everything. It's all of those things.
So what would you say to someone who is on the other end of that?
Buying.
Get
a buyer's agent.
Interesting. Very interesting. And why would you, first of all, why would you say that?
Well, it makes sense. Like, I think, you know when there's a lot of things in life that we can do ourselves and we do them. And you catch yourself, especially in business. I could do that, do this. You could do your bookkeeping. You could do all kinds of shit. Buying a house, this is what I always say to owners. I say, listen, I'm going to help you with two things when you sell your house. Please do not buy anything without talking to me, because I want to help you there too. Because there's no bloody way I'm charging you a ton of money to maximize your price and probably make you an extra $500,000 for for you to chuck it out at the other end, because that defeats the purpose. Why don't we just sell it in 2 weeks? I'll get the out of here. Be easier. Why are we maxing? Owners focus in on maximizing price. Buyers go fully blind with no professional help or protection and think that everything's going to be okay against trained ninjas. Like, we're not around. We're not here just to, like, put it in perspective. We do, like, I've done thousands of deals, not just in property, but like I've had more negotiations. Like, you're going to do one. You're going to rock in. You're going to try and buy your house. No research. Oh, price guide was lower than I thought. And like, how do you navigate through all that stuff without a professional? You got two options, like you did. You worked out how to do mortgage broking, became a mortgage broker. That's great. You could do that. So why would you try and learn how to buy a home unless you're going to become a buyer's agent? I genuinely don't believe it's as easy as things. Why do people think that's such an easy thing to do? Like, why?
I think it's
But the owner has full protection. Like, if you're looking at the street, they have a professional
standing at the gate,
a bodyguard of their house protecting their price. That will do whatever. If they've selected correctly, you select me, I will maximize your price by, we're talking $500,000. Like, my life depends on it. That's my goal. And you're going to walk in, no buyer's agent, and just hope for the best. If you've got the budget, I'm getting it off you. There is absolutely no doubt you're going to have any money left. End of story. And that's why we're not liked. But then to think that the world is different to that is what the conflict's about. Am I doing the wrong thing by trying to? And the problem is, from a buyer's perspective, I hate real estate agents, but that same buyer, when they want to sell their house, will call me up and say, shit, man,
can you sell my house?
Can you sell it for more than it's worth?
Yeah. You make a very valid point, and I'd never even thought about it like that. Just to give you some context, when I purchased, I got thrown into a Dutch auction.
Yeah.
And ended up giving the vendor $200K more than what they were asking. Yeah.
But did you get the house?
Yeah, we got the house.
But how do you know you didn't do well?
Oh, no. Listen,
you won.
We are stoked.
But you won.
Correct. But
See, the guy that didn't get the house lost.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But I wonder now, after talking to you, I wonder if I had a buyer's agent, if that buyer's agent would have gone, nah, we're not entering into a Dutch auction.
He would have lost it for you.
Yeah,
potentially. Yeah. So this is a very good point. And I don't believe the loser of property is the guy that paid too much. I believe the loser is the person that didn't get it. If you secure a house, and we won't get into, but if it's on the North Shore of Sydney, yeah. Okay.
Oh, northern suburb, northern beaches. I moved to the French's Forest.
Okay. Well, the house is still going to double in value in 7 or 10 years. So we're talking millions of dollars. And I've spent $200,000.
This is what I told my wife. It was 7% of the house. We'll get it
How
back.
do you know you overpaid?
No.
Don't know.
I didn't say we overpaid. I said we gave them $200K more than they wanted.
Like, what was the other guy at?
She said the guide, right? We gave him $200K above the top of the guide.
But that doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't.
No, because the other guy was probably 20 grand behind you.
Yeah.
So you only paid 20 grand.
Yeah. And this is what I said to my wife too.
You paid 20 grand, most likely more than the next best buyer.
Yeah.
You didn't even do anything. All you did was, so you were lucky. I think this is the thing, right? So you're left there, you're sitting there, fucking agent, this, that.
Oh, well, you know what I found hilarious was, after that process, she goes, oh, hey, can you give me a Google review?
Who, the agent?
The agent.
I don't go near my buyers.
I was like, are you crazy? Like, I don't want to give you a review.
So that's an interesting. So yeah, I knew you and I would do tangents. So what if we haven't really got into the nitty gritty though?
Oh man, it was wild. I ended up with a 5-bedroom house, 3-bathroom, pool, 4-car garage. It's an amazing house. And
so you're happy?
I'm happy.
How would you have felt?
You know what my wife's doing at the moment?
Is she still upset that she overpaid?
She sits on real estate going, I'm just waiting for the other houses to come around our price. I'm like, mate, move on with your life. What are you doing?
When did you buy it?
We settled a couple of months ago.
Okay, settled a couple months ago. Just so we know 100% that in 3 years it's probably going to be worth $400,000 to $1 million more than you paid. Somewhere in the next, it's going to double in 7 years.
Even if it doubles in 10
It'll
to
be
15.
doubling in 10 to 12 if we really had a problem. So
yeah, I have the same.
But still, man, like, so buyer's agents, I think it's nice to, Look, I don't think you're a great example. I think we're talking about 99% of the population that anyone that's prepared to...
Sorry, hold on. Let me cut you off there. I think yes today, but I think that in 7 to 10 years, this price points are going to be like if you're looking at anything around Sydney, 7 to 10K radius from the city, everything is going to be at that price point.
I just don't understand this. Look, do you need a buyer's agent? No. You don't need a real estate agent either. You can sell your own house. Try it. See how you go. I didn't sell my own house.
Oh, you didn't?
No, man. Some agents do. But
that's very interesting.
You have to detach. You have to sit back, analyze the data and what you're being presented with, and do everything you can to not be a part of that. Like, I love it. That's the other thing I get a lot of comments about. You can sell your own house. Wait till AI replaces you. Mate,
I saw that in one of your comments,
mate,
actually.
I didn't even sell my own house. And I could have sold my own house.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, that's one thing I know how to do. No way. So how emotional? But bottom line is, so you can sell your own house, but 90% of people would choose not to.
Yeah. Okay.
You can buy your own house and only a very small proportion use a buyer's agent. The reasons for that is because, I guess, buying something involves no skill. To buy correctly, not get ripped off, not waste your time, involves experience. You can't sell a house without some knowledge. So you have to go to TAFE, you have to learn, you have to get on the right portals. It's a headache. But to walk into something and just buy it, anyone can do that. So that's why people don't use buyer's agents. But those same people will come out of an auction fiery. Underquoter. I'm reporting you to the Department of Fair Trading. Do you want to talk about underquoting?
Mate, I think we should leave it there, and I would love to get you back and talk about underquoting. So,
don't you want to quickly talk about it?
You want to do it now? Let's do it.
Do you want to?
Yeah, we'll do it. Maz, do you want to have lunch?
No. I'm
All
How long have you got?
We have until 2, but there's no one booked after you.
No, we've got. Oh, okay, yeah, because I've got the guys sitting outside as well.
Do you want to talk about underquoting? Because it's important.
Let's talk about. Okay.
Because that's the hottest topic you got.
Cool. And let's talk about underquoting.
Do you want to?
I do. I really do.
Isn't that the one thing you wanted to know?
I do want to know your thoughts on it, and I mean,
what were the main things you wanted to know, really?
Well, look, my thing is, because I'm a sales guy. I've been selling. I'm 46. I've been selling since I was 16.
Yeah.
Right. And I understand that it's just part of the process, unfortunately.
So underquoting was a hot topic you wanted to talk about. Yeah. Was there anything else?
No, I think underquoting is probably.
Let's get it out there, right?
So tell me, do you believe that it's just part of the sales process? And
no. So I'm going to just clear it up. Underquoting, because I got into a lot of recently when I posted about it. So I'm just going to do it again.
All right.
This will go viral, right? No, it won't. So, firstly, definition of underquoting. What do you think it is?
Giving the public the perception that something is going to sell for X, but it's really worth Y.
That's not underquoting.
No?
No.
What would you call that?
So underquoting, the legal terminology, there's two numbers that appear on an agency agreement. There is an estimated sale price by the agent and a marketing price by the owner.
Okay.
Remember signing that on yours?
Yep.
Okay. What was your you had an estimated sale price. Do you remember it? It doesn't matter what it was, but you remember it?
Yeah.
If I guide the property under that level, that's underquoting.
Okay.
That's the only underquoting. That is the only thing that is underquoting.
Let me give you an example, okay? So I've got a friend that recently sold.
I love underquoting. I love this topic.
Right.
I don't love underquoting, but I like the topic.
So he was talking to a bunch of agents. So he thought that the house was worth 3 to 3.2.
The one he's selling?
Yeah, the one he's selling. He was talking to a whole bunch of agents.
Yep.
Okay, and I actually happened to be there for one of these discussions. And he said that the agent, who's a nice guy, he goes, mate, just stick it on there for 2.6 and just watch them all come in.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And he's like, and then we'll get them up to your price of 3.2.
Yeah.
Right. And my mate was like, that's a bit unethical. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know? Is that underquoting?
Do you want, so okay, let's unpack it. Agents aren't going to like. I don't think anyone's going to like this conversation, but it's informative. Hypothetically, I've got to be clear because sometimes my acting and my hypotheticals, people yell at me about them because they think I do stuff. But I'm just going to say, let's say what's a naughty name? Like Nathan the Naughty Agent or something. So I'm in there and I'm sitting there in this situation. I say to the guy, what do you want for the property? What is the price you want? What is the number that you get for your house? And I mean, the real question is, what's your dream price? How's it going to change your life? Why is it so important to you? And then you get the answer. Okay. And then Nathan, the Naughty Agent, goes, mate, well, how we do it, we'll guide it probably 20% under that. That'll get all of the activity going. And then we'll get competition and we'll get up to that price. Now, that is how 90% of agents that is how some agents do operate. Mm-hmm. Full stop.
Yep.
So is it underquoting? Well, this is where it gets tricky. So we're sitting down. I'm Nathan going, mate, so we're doing a deal. Yep, cool. So my fee's 2.5%. Yep, love it. Sounds a bit pricey. Okay, I'll do it for 2.4, whatever. Right? So we're at 70, 80 grand, whatever it is. And we've got through all that and we get to the agency agreement and I just put on the estimated sale price. I show you some comparables that went for 2.5 and 2.6. I say, they're the comparables. And you say to me, but I want 3.2 million. So that's fine, but this is my estimated sale price. And I would guide it at that level. Ah, I get you. Yeah. Agreement signed. Property goes to market with a guide of 2.6 million. No underquoting. Can't be.
Yeah.
Because underquoting would be me quoting under my estimated sale price.
Yeah.
What your real question is, how the does this all happen? Why is the guide 2.6 when we know it's 3.2? Well, that is from a paperwork, whatever rules you put in place in the world, there's always someone that knows how to get around them. Okay? Now, in this experience, Nathan has told the owner that the comparables are 2.5 to 2.6. That would be my recommended guide, and that is my estimated sale price. The owner has agreed. There's no foul there. Unless they explicitly said to each other, hey, I'm 100% not selling for 3.2 or under, 100%. That is my price. I'm putting it on my marketing price as the owner, 3.2, not negotiable. Agent's estimated price 2.5 to 2.6. Well, the reality is it goes to market with a 3.2. Actually, this is interesting here. Believe it or not, I know there'll be some people firing off maybe in the comments, but even if you said to me, I want you to market at 3.2, that'd be a different discussion anyway in this instance, right? So bottom line is, let's just play that back. So you've agreed with Naughty Nathan's ideas of guiding it at 2.6 million, even though you kind of want 3.2.
Yeah.
But on the agency agreement, you agree to market your property at 2.6 million. You put it on the market at 2.6, officially, legally, unless there was a conversation that anyone could prove, or it was recorded, or it was jotted down on a piece of paper that you 100% would not sell for under 3.2, but you said you would work with the market at around that level, there's no underquoting.
Yeah, okay.
But what buyers are upset about is the fact that, why did that happen? How are you allowed to guide a property at 2.6 when you really want 3.2? Well, what can you do about it?
Not much. I mean, as someone who has purchased recently, whenever I would go to a property and it was guiding X, I would always tack 10% on, and I'd even talk to the agent about it. And I'd add the 10%.
Here's a question for you, and it'll be interesting to see your answer. So you went into a property, let's say a guide of, let's use one. What?
3.
3? Okay, the guide was 3.
And I'd say, okay, so the owner wants 3.
So, but listen, this is interesting. So the guide was 3?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you tell the agent, hey, I'd pay heaps more than that for this?
No.
Right. So when the agent goes back to give the feedback on his Tuesday, Wednesday night after the opens, and the owner says, how's the feedback going? Yeah, they're kind of around that $3 million mark. So the agent can't put up the guide because buyers aren't exactly saying, I'm going to give you a whole lot more. And no matter what I do with that number, you're never going to hear anything but I'll probably give you less, 99% of the time. So this is the problem. The guide goes on. The world already thinks you've got to tack 10% on, so the number's crap anyway. If you're not going to tell me you want to pay 10% more anyway because you're trying to hold it down, we originally talked about that gap. So the agent goes back to the owner and they talk about the guide and they say, look, we're guiding it at 3, and Mansour said that's all he'll pay. Okay. That will happen 5 times during the auction campaign. Everyone's at 3 million. They've all said the same thing. One might have stuck his head out and said, I'll have a crack before. How's 3-1? It's not a lot more than 3. I think we'll just run the auction. Auction happens. Mansour comes out with a 3-3. The other bidder comes up at 3,450, 3,450, 3,475, and it keeps going. And it sells for 3.6 million. The agent's now under quota. Agent's fault. Agent's fault. But hold on a sec. Who bullshitted who here? The buyers have already said, if it's not at 3 million, I think you want 3.3 anyway, because that's what my experience is. And the government legislation led to that problem. Let's give them 10% ranges. And that's where the problem actually started if we want to throw some stones. It's not real estate agents. Legislation, you used to be able to say offers over 3 million.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting your time. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah.
We are looking for over $3 million here. It's vague, no deception though. I think it's just a guide to let you know it's not worth 2 and it's not worth 4.
Isn't it the same thing though? Like in terms of being like vague is kind of a bit deceptive. Like if you're saying over 3, that could be 5, it could be 6, like 3.
No, but I think some people have, because of the laws, because of the legislation, because of the reforms, I think the consumer believes that these guides are more important than they actually are.
I see.
You're looking at guides thinking they mean something. Yeah, they're meant to, but they're guides.
Yeah.
They're not prices. There's no recommended retail price in real estate. They're not prices. And even if it said for sale, it's still not a price. So the problem here is agents are up, buyers are upset because I'm going to go to more of a different socio-economic group and let's just call it $1 million, because that's where the big complaints are happening. There's agents that have got in trouble lately. Some of the biggest agents in the country are in deep shit at $1 million. Yeah. Constantly $1 million, blah, 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 blah. The buyers are all upset because they're missing properties. There's a supply and demand issue. So on an auction, there's not just 1 or 2 that miss. In my area, if one guy misses out, it's one person. He'll go try and find a new home, a new $10 million home. Yeah. In that $1 million demographic, there's 25 people that missed out. All of them did building reports and things like that. They've spent money, they've invested time, they're upset, it goes for 1.1. That's the actual issue. And I guess the problem here is, well, what's underquoting? What is it? To you, it's when the price guide is a lot lower than the sale price. Is that? Yeah. And I guess that's...
I'd say if the variance was more than 10 to 12%, something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like you see some of these things where like, but look, let me finish this sentence. You see something at like 1.8 and it goes for 2.6, right? Yep. But off the back of what you just said earlier, what you said does make sense, right? At the end of the day, the market's going to drive what the price is, okay? And if you've got 2 people going at it, etc., it is what it is. Like my neighbor now, she's very good friends with the vendor that we bought the property off, right? And she said to her, like when we were doing our Dutch auction, she said, I would have just been happy with the bottom end of the guide. She's like, well, but
she's not selling yet.
But well, no, that burnt my wife was just like, oh my God. But I explained to her the market dictated what the property was worth. Yeah. We were against someone, and they are the market. So at the end of the day, you either have the house or you don't have the house. Yeah, it's just one of those things, and you've got to pay overs.
100%. But I think if I was to, because obviously I do have feelings contrary to a lot of the people that comment on real estate agents. I think there's a few people I need to speak to. I think a buyer. So if I'm a buyer, what do I do to navigate the price guides? Personal opinion. Option 1, buyer's agent and some protection. I know it's an investment of 20 grand or whatever it might be at $1 million, but it will save you weekends, heartache, and a whole lot of drama. You might even be able to pick something up cheaply off market, off one of the more desperate real estate agents. You never know what might happen. But the reality is, if you're that worried about getting upset and you're not prepared to work with the rules or the lack of, or the deception that might be in other agents, not myself, but let's assume that they are sometimes dodgy and desperate and they're manipulating you. That's not going to help you on Monday when you don't own the home. So if I say, oh, he's dodgy, he's manipulative, the price guide's I'm not going to the house, well, you've hurt yourself.
Yeah.
If I get protection, professional guidance and help, I think that would be more important to me to secure the home that I love rather than miss it because I'm going to just cast blame across multiple facets. Like the real estate agent's the fault, the law sucks, this world's horrible, everyone's out to get me. That's the truth. I feel for them though. I genuinely do. I find it hard to believe people can invest that much time and money when we have so much data at our fingertips though.
I agree.
So slow down. If you're a buyer, the guide's at 900, but you've got a gut feel they really want 1.1. Okay, so what did you just say there? The guides, chuck it in the bin. They probably want 1.1. Are you prepared to pay 1.1? Yeah, I am. Okay. So who gives a shit?
Yeah.
So now we go and try and buy the property. Comparable sales. It makes sense. Do I like it? Do I love it? Cool. Blah, 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 blah. I think there's a good chance we could secure this house. Do we genuinely definitely want to buy it? I've done all my research. I've got my building report. Now, in my neck of the woods, it's the same thing. Not everyone does a building report. I do agree. I think agents should get their building report done for the buyers. But then the buyer goes, oh, don't know who did it. Don't know who did it. This is regulated. You get a building report from a proper building report guy, mate, their house is on the line. So you don't have, no one's dodgy.
Oh, look, can I just add something to that? I know a building and pest inspector, and she told me she works for one of the large brands, and she goes, don't use the ones that the agents use.
Okay, well, fair enough. So you get your own, right?
But you know what she, and this is probably something that's interesting to buyers. It's not because they dodgy up the report, but they just look at less things. Like, for example, they won't go into the roof.
They probably won't turn every tap on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? So we've fallen in love with the house, the price guide. This is really for a buyer, because there's very specific the differences here. From a buyer's point of view, I understand that people are wasting time and all of that stuff. I think they can minimize that by, without sounding rude or derogatory, like, let's be adults. This is a huge purchase. I've seen people I know spend months researching buying a car. Months. But the same person will walk into an auction and get upset because the guide was lower than it went for. And it's like, well, did you look up the last 200 sales in the area? No. It's the price guide. The price guide's not right. Let's accept that. And that's the bit where I'm getting the conflict. I'm saying delete, don't worry about the guides. Just work around them. Don't worry about them. Research is key. We are not in the day and age where you have to go into the Land and Titles office. Could you please fax me over the last year? It is so easy to find out a price. Then I can already hear them now. Oh, but some of you agents don't tell them what you sold them for, so I can call them up. Be their friend. Hey, Johnny the agent, I noticed I'm buying a property in the area. I noticed you sold 3 Smith Street, which is very like 2 Johnson Street that I'm about to buy. Could you tell me a few things? Have you got a moment? Yeah, of course I do. It sold for 1 million. Okay. Did you have many buyers at that level? Well, to tell you the truth, everyone wanted to buy it for 900. I jagged one on that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that gives you...
So what do you think of 3 Smith Street? Well, I know you think they're the same. I don't. That one's got a north to rear. I think you'll pay 1.1 for it.
Yeah.
But if you can get it for 1, buy it. I don't really care anyway. I don't like the agent. Don't give a shit. No, I'm unaffected.
Yeah.
But here's the information. The other thing, I could send you some comparable sales because I want to help you too.
Yeah.
Like, we're not out to get anyone. So I've just got off the phone. I'm going to this auction. Johnny, the other agent's just given me a list of comparables. He's given me a bit of insight into what happened on the house up the road that sold. I'm now going in, I'm going, the guide's 900. Johnny's reckoning it's 1-1 all day long. I've got 1-1. Or I don't. I've only got 900. You turn up knowing you're probably going to miss it.
Yeah.
And you might get lucky. So I think in relation to the buyers, I understand why they're so hurt, but I think we do need to stop blaming and do more research.
I 100% agree with you on that. I see it with the first-time buyers that contact our office.
Yeah.
We say the same thing to them as well. You got to do the research.
Yeah, do it.
You got to put in the work. You got to attend auctions, even if they're not for you.
And how do you, and these guides, you know, there's two other people. There's the real estate agent, but there's also two other people involved in ending up in a guide being deceptive. So a guide is usually reflecting of what the market is telling us. That's the facts. So we've already worked out, we've opened up the house, we're guiding it at 2.5. Yeah, we might think it's worth 3, or the owner wants 3, but they said we'll work with the market. First open home, the guide's 2.5, Mansour. Yeah, it makes sense. You get back in the car, get back in the Lambo, and the wife goes, I'd pay 3 for that. Agent calls you on Monday, what do you think? Yeah, 2.5's about right. Vendor report, Mansour 2.5. List, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Everyone's saying the same thing. One guy goes, I'll give you 50 grand more. Guide remains the same. Who caused the 2.5 price guide? The agent, the owner, and the buyers. It didn't end up there by itself. Yeah. Everyone has to take responsibility. It's a very simple equation. It's not
well, also if we all now go to auction and we're willing to pay 3 anyway,
so
it'll go over to 3.2.
Okay, so
but what?
But yeah, isn't that what underquoting is?
Because all the 2.5 guys are now bidding against each other.
But the underquoting was actually caused by, firstly, it was caused by everyone, and that is the movement that I come from. Instead of I'm just honest. I sit back and I look at it unemotionally. I say, how did this happen? It happened because owners, buyers, agents are all just trying to bring a deal together here. It's not. I read the comments, mate. The comments are phenomenal. It's like, you just want extra commission, mate.
It's not worth
it. If I get an extra couple $100,000, I might make $4,000. Yeah. That is not the reason that I'm trying to gouge you at the auction. Yeah. I honestly couldn't care less.
Yeah, I tell people that as
Do you
well.
know, that is not what we're doing. Yeah. If you're a decent agent...
But also, when I have that conversation with especially first home buyers, it's kind of hard to have that conversation because $4,000 is a lot of money to them.
100%, man.
I can't go, they're only going to make a couple grand or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I make 6 a month, you know.
Well, that is true.
So
So I get it. So to those, to the $1 million guys or the 500,000 that are missing at auction and going, I just invested a week's pay on a building report, and you're sitting there in your ivory tower throwing rocks at me. You don't know what you're talking about. What I say to them is research. Do your research. If you genuinely think it seems too good to be true, it probably is. We know that. It's cliche, but it's true. If you think you can afford it and you think that there's a good chance that you can pay the money that you genuinely think it's worth after that research, go get your building report. This is assuming you got your finance in place, you really love the home, and, you
got the conveyance.
Do all the work. And so to the owners, I stand by owners. If an owner says to me, I have, people are very quick to throw rocks at real estate agents when it goes at auction for a lot more than the guide. I had a property in the last couple of years, the guide was 3.6. Buyers were saying they wouldn't pay over 3.5. At auction, and the reserve was, I've got to be careful, but the reserve was let's call it around 4. But they were flexible at the time. But sometimes it is what it is. Anyway, actually, I better rephrase that. Let's just say this. The owner would have loved 4. The owner would have loved 4. The feedback was 3.5 and the guide was 3.6.
Okay.
The auction went off. 2 people killing each other. It got to 4.3.
Okay.
Now, I walked into the owner and I said, guys, and I always do this. Now, the reserve could have been 3.9. No foul there. I go to the owner as a joke. I said, so you still want to sell it? And one of them looked at me and says, I think we've changed our mind. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to move. I absolutely don't want to move. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, cool, no worries. Walked out, said to them, sorry, they're not selling it. At what price? What do you mean? Not selling it. Who cares? Stiff An owner, this is to the owners and to the buyers and to everyone else and the government and everyone else that wants to make it out to be so deceptive. You're dealing with humans' lives and their biggest asset. Financial problems, marriage breakdowns, deaths, all of this stuff, and a very at that final pointy end when you're about to let go of your home, it doesn't come down to reserve price. It doesn't come down to guides. It doesn't come down to There's a moment of clarity where even in my experience, when a property sales 800 grand above a reserve, where an owner reserves the right to say, I'm not selling my home. It's not underquoting. There was no underquoting there. You couldn't buy it at any price. I got calls that night giving me another 100 grand. But owner goes, we're not selling. So sorry, but we're not selling. And we're never going to tell you why, because they don't have to. But they're still in that house to this day. So where I'm going with this is, you see it all the time. This is what buyers and the government are upset about. Price guides are low. It gets to auction. The reserves are high. You've wasted everyone's time. Why aren't we flipping that around to protect the owner and to say the owner owns the property, they can do whatever they want with it, and buyer beware. Like, do your own research, accept that the world sometimes isn't fair. I've walked into shops recently thinking just because I've got the money I can buy something. You can't. They go, you want to go on the waiting list?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I want to buy it. Yeah. We don't have one and you're about 30 down the queue. I don't go, I'm going to the Department of Fair Trading.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So, man, underquoting is going to be a hot topic for a while. I think there's the way that I believe it needs to be fixed is more honest conversations like this. I do things a bit differently. If you come to any of my opens, I look you straight in the eye and I tell you what the owner wants. So again, to the people that throw rocks at me for what I think on auctions and underquoting, which I think buyer beware stiff that is the truth. I feel for you, but put adult pants on and do your research. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You come into my auction, I don't even have auctions at the moment. I've got expressions of interest. People want to get rid of auctions. Try buying a property off someone when it's not an auction. At least at auction, you can see everyone. You come into me and you want to buy a house, I say, put your best and final offer in by this date. How do I know where everyone else is? You don't. You just put your best and final. It's your opinion of the price. Oh, that's unfair. Well, there's also this price. The owner will take that today. That's too much. Okay. That's my process. It's really easy. You come in, and mine is so black and white and covered, and not a lot of people want to do it because, as you've just mentioned before, most agents walk in and go, we'll guide it down here. That'll get them in here. The world's moving towards transparency.
Yeah.
Sash, what's the house worth? I got one at the moment, 7.5 million. That's what the owner wants. It's too much. Deadline's next week. Put your best and final offer in. But am I wasting my time? Maybe. Maybe. Maybe I've just told you what he wants.
You're wasting your time if you're at 5.
Well, I said, is your offer at 7.5? No. You might be wasting your time. Oh, well, give me the building report. I'll go do some research. That's cool. And that is the move, that's the transition I've made in the last year. I honestly don't think auctions are the way to maximize price. I think auctions are the best way to get a very transparent view of the market. I believe it's the fairest opportunity for buyers to purchase knowing where the market is. There's nothing more transparent than an auction.
Yeah.
The owner gets to view exactly what the market thinks about their house. Apart from the price guide itself being something we should just ditch and say, it's probably not accurate, what a beautiful world where we can walk in and buy our biggest asset looking at all our competition. If you start to regulate it, twist it, turn it, and make it very difficult for agents to do business that way, they'll all be doing it business my way, which is, I'm not out to get you, but I'm very clear. I'm here to represent an owner to maximize the sale price of their home, not to be your buddy. I could tell you might be my favorite buyer, but deep down, my hat says owner on it. It doesn't say, I'm here for you, buddy. Like, and that's without sound, like, what else are we meant to do? Like an agent, we are a conduit. We're trying to bring them together. But deep down, I'm being paid by an owner to maximize the sale price of their home. I personally don't think auction is the way to do that. I think the right way to do it is just to basically tell the world what the owner actually wants and then be smart enough to be able to deliver that for them with integrity and honesty. And there is a way to do it. It is, and I don't think everyone's prepared to because it's harder.
Yeah, well, lodging an expression of interest is not transparent. It's a Dutch auction, basically.
Well, but the reality is it's a very untransparent way, but mixed with the way I do it where I tell you what you can buy it for as well. Like what do buyers want? Transparency. Owner would like this price. Oh, he's dreaming. Yeah, but he's also prepared to work with the market. Yeah, but how flexible is he? Well, we won't know that until we put all these offers in a pile. Well, how do I know where to put my offer? Whatever you think it's worth. Oh, I don't feel like that's a very good thing to do. Okay, we'll just buy it for the price he wants. Well, that's too much. Now, if I guided it at 6 million, I'd probably have 30 people there. They might get to 7, and then I tell them, oh, he wanted 7.5. I'm a liar and a cheat.
Yeah.
So I think it's not that cut and dry. It's not that black and white. But I think if the politicians and society knows what's good for them, they need to relax a little bit on real estate agents. Try and use real estate agents like myself to come up with some rules that won't affect anyone and maybe try and make it a bit fairer for everyone because I do understand it. But there's some real knee-jerk, like in Melbourne, have you seen they're trying to make vendors select their reserve price a week out.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So we've just discussed the feedback. So the guide's at 3, the feedback's at 3. The owner kind of wanted 3.5, but the buyers keep going 3, 3, 3. Let's throw a missile out there. Buyers are full of shit too. Yeah. They're lying.
Yeah, of course.
They're not telling you the truth, right?
That's their life savings.
So guess where the reserve's going to be set? It's not going to be set at that price because that's too far off. I need to protect my asset. I think these guys, based on past performance, are lying to me. And they know I might be probably wanting more than the guide. Reserve, I'll meet them in the middle. 3-3. Hi, all buyers. After feedback over the last 4 weeks, sitting down with the owner today, we've decided that the reserve is 3 million, 3.3. You probably lose 9 out of 10 buyers. And you could argue, well, stiff shit. If they'd all just come to the auction and they'd played it out and got to see everyone with open transparency where everyone landed, because that is what they're worried about. They're worried about, I don't want to overpay. I've got the budget. I've actually got 4 million. I might even go to 4 if I knew that everyone would pay 4. And it's not about, oh, that's real estate. This is capitalism and, oh, you're greedy owners. It's finding a market value, which is fair and transparent. And I don't believe that people pay more money at auction. I just think it looks that way because the guide sometimes is low. Yeah. But the reality just finds where it would have anyway. But you, as the buyer, got to see who you were up against. And then you'll get another, if you post this, you'll see comments. What about dummy bidders? Very difficult. You got to register. This isn't that easy, okay? And I put it back, well, what about a buyer's agent? What about research? Do you really think there's a way to bid where you know that it's not a dummy bidder? If you've got a professional with you, there's no way you'll get driven up by a dummy bidder. So that's why I say don't go without a buyer's agent. So
the advice that you're giving is I think very accurate, and it's very interesting also seeing the insight from your perspective.
It's true, and it's like you said, I don't have anyone that's going to come and say, Sacha, I wish you hadn't said that. Yeah. I'll leave you on this though. The actual solution, as contrary to popular belief as it probably is to remove pricing altogether. You just basically say, I think we've accepted that price guides aren't working. The price guides, whether they're deceptive or not, let's assume there's some honest agents out there and then some manipulative ones. If we know that the pricing is the problem, get rid of it. Then you're left with auction, then you're left with no pricing. Oh, but how am I going to work out what it's worth? Well, you could start by calling the agent. You could start by doing some research on past sales, and you're really putting it back on you to make sure that without any doubt you are so geared up and understanding exactly what that property's worth that there can be no manipulation there. You turn up to the auction and based on the month of research you've done, you know what it's worth. And if you're not there, it means you can't afford it or you're not prepared to pay it. End of story. And now that has some problems too. It's vague, it's fluffy, da. But the reality is that's what auction was invented for. And auction's invented to bring a whole lot of people that want something into a public place, and they all bid, and may the best person win. That's what an auction's for.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be a fair ground for people to get things at a price they thought they'd go. It's not. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
So I think the price guides in Queensland, they have no price guides. And I hate to say, Queenslanders are meant to be behind. I shouldn't say that either. But they're cruising. How can a cruisy state have such an interesting way to do things? Like, if anything, they'd be the guys that say, chuck a price on it. We couldn't be fucked with it. They've gone, nah, no price guides. Do your own research. You're just hoping for the best. Do your own thing. And I think that's probably something that there's elements in every state that have good and bad things. In New South Wales, I could be wrong, but I think I can advertise a house. And when you inquire and ask me what it's worth, I say, I don't know. And we're worried about price guides. I think it will only be moments if people start getting, there's SWAT teams going into offices now, like, get on the floor, show me your files. Like, if it'll go down the path where you say, so I'm just in trouble for the price guide? Yeah, you are. Okay, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I've got 3 Smith Street. Hi, what's the guide? Well, we're not quite sure. We just we would advise you to do your own research on the price of the home. The owner will be selling on auction day. If you have any interest, please come and have a look. So,
And on that note, we shall wrap it up.
all right, brother.
Sacha.